Yeah, so today we are going to talk about the exciting story about the mainframe modernization. It doesn't sound exciting maybe from the title, but once we'll go inside it will sound exciting, I promise. Okay. And today with me I have our esteemed customer Will Holway from the Western Union and Jay Moody from the UNAM, and they are going to talk about the mainframe modernization journey using the agentic AI composable framework with AWS Transform. And it is all possible because of our co-innovation with our partner Accenture. And Accenture with Western Union built this composable agentic AI solution, which is make it possible to accelerate the 2x speed for the mainframe modernization and take the application from discovery to the testing in rapid fast speed, which will go in detail. And the Pega worked with the UNAM and took this entire transformation journey, saving the thousands of hours for the UNAM and in the rapid pace and reducing the complexity of application using the low code, no code, and created the composable solution with AWS Transform. So without delay, actually I will start, and if you see what we are going to cover, we are going to cover a little bit quick overview about the AWS Transform and why, and we will talk about the composability and what challenges it is solving. And this is kind of the new concept where we are proposing to build a composable solution with the customer and partner and AWS to avoid that market confusion, this tool versus that tool, because ultimately we want the workload to modernize and help the customer in this journey. And then we'll go through the little bit more tech and learn about the architecture, how we thought about this composability, how we are making it possible to implement. And then finally we will hear directly from the Western Union and UNAM, our esteemed customer. So the AWS Transform is the first agentic AI service for large scale migration and modernization. It has 4 pillars. So assessment, VMware, mainframe and .NET. So using the Gen AI and agentic AI, you can do these transformation in rapid fast pace. So whatever used to take years earlier, now you can do in month. Whatever takes a month, you can do in the weeks and days. In this session, I will especially focus on the AWS Transform for the mainframe, and some capabilities you will see here in the screen. It kind of automate the entire transformation process from end to end. Whether you are going and at assessment phase, you are looking these decades of old code. If you talk about the COBOL code, this code is most challenging. It is written in last 2 to 3 decades or 4 decades, and layer over layer people were keep building on top of it. And what happened finally is there is so much tech debt, so much knowledge loss, because people come, wrote some code, go out, they took retirement, and it becoming a black box. And with black box, customer cannot take risk. Until you don't know what is inside the black box, you cannot make the plan how you are going to modernize. And that's where when we launched the AWS Transform, it provides the capability to go these millions of lines of code and able to create the technical documentation, functional documentation, and business rule extraction in weeks or in days, which give you the idea, okay, so what to do with this application? Now I understand what is inside the black box. Do I want to take it to the refactor path? I want to change from the COBOL to Java. AWS Transform provide the agent for that. And I want to have the industry knowledge base there. We have the composable agent with Accenture, which provide that. You want to get inside into the scheduler, we have the CA7 agent with composable solution with Accenture, this provide. Our customers say that, hey, I want to understand this all business rule extraction, and maybe I want to get rid of all code and go to the low code, no code path, which Pega Blueprint provide, and that's what we are going to listen here. And then after that, lots of effort go on testing. So today we launch the testing, automated testing in the AWS Transform. and there is another session for that, so I will not talk much about that. And there is a data migration is also another pain, okay, so that's where is all end-to-end migration is available now. So what the challenges we were facing? So when we launched sometime the AWS Transform with another name last year, and then we in May this year we launched is at the AWS Transform. One things we are seeing that our partners has built these tools, this mainframe workload they are handling from 3 decade, 4 decade, and they have built the tools there, and then AWS tools are there, and then there is a different tool from different ISVs, GSIs and all. Now they have confusion, even though their business case is saying move to modernize your workload, but there was slowdown, and these slowdown happening because of the tool confusion. So these different tool proposal coming to them, there is overlapping tool, how to take the decision and move forward. Second is stakeholder misalignment. If someone is proposing different tool versus different pattern, whether we should go to forward engineering or reverse engineering, and we are doing the refactor or replace, and actually the integration challenge. If I have the 5-6 different tool I want to use, one for discovery or the code conversion or testing or the integration, these all working in silos, how to bring them together? So that was the another challenges. That's where we introduced composability. What composability do? It brings the best out of the all available tool in the market. And that's what we create, 1 + 1 is greater than 2. So if AWS Transform has some agent, it has some differentiator, then partner like Accenture and Pega has the differentiator. We bring the best of all the tools together and drive the co-build and co-sell motion. So how we do that? AWS migration and modernization agent, and then we have the third-party agent registration, where we talked about with Accenture and Pega, and the customer can bring their own agent also. And then we have this agent orchestration layer. And I will talk more about the agent orchestration. That's where we design the overall agentic workflow. Whether this agent is going to work side by side, like if I have the FSI agent, FSI knowledge base agent by Accenture, and then I have this knowledge base, this code, I'm creating the BRE by the AWS Transform. These two agents need to work side by side. And that's where is one orchestration where we have supervisor agent and handling those agents side by side. And then other could be the linear. I first want to do the transformation, then testing, then data migration, all those. So those kind of orchestration is also available. So this is the co-innovation initiative where we are empowering the migration competency partner to integrate our tools, agents, industry knowledge together and bring best for the customer to make them right decision and expedite their journey using the latest and greatest technology. So some of the use cases I already talked about, the enhanced knowledge for customized workflow. And when we are doing the customized workflow, everyone heard about the MCP now. And MCP is that smart API which doesn't require the lots of hardwire coding there, right? If you have the MCP server, your agent hosted on that, and we have the AWS Transform has the agent in MCP server, they can easily talk to each other and easily orchestrate these entire things. And then you can bring the new agent, and that's how it helps to expand the technology and scale through the partners. So if we see how the composability is driving the value. So first is, if you look about the partner, it definitely give you the market differentiator where you can co-build and say that, hey, I'm bringing the best of the breed together and create the co-sell motion. For the customer, they got the tailored solution. Now we are not force-fitting them to the solution which is already in the market. We are saying, you tell us your problem, and working backward, we will create the solution for you which is best fit for you. And finally, for the AWS, the legacy technology is so broad. We cannot build everything and always everything, and it is hard to scale, and we don't want to build everything, right? And that's where we want to scale through the partner. It gives us more expanded technology portfolio, and on top of that, to co-innovating with our partners, which is very important. So some of the capability you will see, it is agent registration capability. If you are bringing your agent, it will get registered with the AWS Transform. There are the API and the controls available. So there is MCP server control, then there will be A2A, agent to agent protocol which create the orchestration, and you will have the secure runtime routing. And where it sit in overall the AWS Transform sit in the overall portfolio. So if you will see that this is the agentic AI or overall LLM agentic AI portfolio of the AWS. These different layers of capabilities provided. So you will see that application layer AWS Transform sitting there, and most of the capabilities are here and without no charge to customer and partner. And then you see the Strand agent, you can build this is the open source, you can build your agent using the Strand agent, or if you want you can bring, because it is hosted in the agent core, so you can bring your agent even if you have put into the LangGraph or all open source, you can bring into the agent core. And if you want, you can use the different model which is available through the Bedrock, whether it is Claude, whether it is Llama or any model, or Nova, whatever model you want to use. So how this overall flow work actually? If you see that the first is partner can create an agent on their development environment, the local environment. We do your AWS account as a allow list, and you use the Strand agent or all to build your agent. We extend you the AWS Transform primitive, AWS Transform base agent, which will help you to build the agent in local, do the testing. Once you are satisfied that hey, your capability working good in the agent, you can take that deploy in the ECS and put into the agent core. And after that, it will start talking to the AWS Transform, because it got registered there, and then customer can have the communication using the chat agent there. And by the way, we have this very broad demo available into the mainframe booth, so you can always go and play around that, and you will see how these agents are working together. And we have in the Venetian Expo the mainframe booth. Obviously, security is the most important things, and we understand that especially the mainframe, lots of industry compliance workload is there from the FIFI customer, SCLS customer. So you will have the data secure with VPC enabled runtime. So your data is isolated. You have the fine-grained IAM policy, so you know you can control who can access your agents and who cannot. And finally, you want to know what your agent is doing, so you have the logging, observability, and the 3P agent compliances. So with that, actually, I would like to invite the Will Holloway from Western Union to talk about how they build modernize their Western Union journey using the AWS Transform and Accenture composable solution. Welcome, Will.
Thank you, Saurabh. So this is interesting. This is my first reInvent appearance. And with all the headphones, I kind of feel like a silent DJ or a silent rave. So no Skrillex, no nothing like that, unfortunately for you. I'm merely Will Holloway, and I run the consumer services operations for Western Union's non-money transfer products. And as Saurabh mentioned, so obviously, we're partnering with AWS and Accenture to pilot this AWS Transform technology to see if we can modernize our money order platform. But we'll talk through that in due time. Before, I'll talk a little bit about Western Union, and I'm sure many of you know of Western Union primarily through our money transfer service, but we have a very long history of additional products as well as, I gotta watch the back of the stage, technological breakthroughs over the years. So starting in 1861, we pioneered the first telegraph. And shortly thereafter, about 10 years later, we started our flagship money transfer service. Moving into 1914, we actually had developed the first consumer charge card and shared that out. And then moving into the 1960s, to the delight of our customers and dentists all over the country, we started delivering candygrams. So, wide variety of things. Now we span the globe, over 200 different countries with just about 500,000 individual retail locations. So, it took 170 years, but we grew quite large. But let's talk about today. Let's talk about Western Union right now. So, some of you may have tuned into our Investor Day last month, and if you did, we talked a lot. We used a lot beyond remittances, and what that means. Obviously, remittance is a money transfer, right? It's the industry we're in. But our executive team and our shareholders decided that we're going to commit to going beyond remittances over the next 3 years. And what that means for us as a company, myself included, we want to grow consumer services revenue from 15% of total revenue to 25% by 2028. What that means for me is I've got to deliver $1 billion in revenue over the next 3 years and grow the products to scale and such, which brings us to why we're talking today. I think the other interesting thing that we found out, 70% of our receivers across the globe are interested in additional financial services products. So, right, some of you might have moved money in an emergency, some of you might rely on it. Our customer base are those that are looking for really products that a non-banked customer might live day in and day out on. So we're really pushing in on that, and that's really what Beyond is all about. Okay, so let's talk about where we want to apply this mainframe technology. So like I said, I own consumer services operations, and money order is the biggest product in that. Money order is offered only in the US and Canada. Currently, you can only cash or deposit them in US and Canada. Some of you might be familiar with money order. Some of you have maybe bought one. I'm gonna guess 7. Raise your hand if you bought a money order in the past. I'm pretty close. I'll give myself the 7. So if you have, you may think it's a bit old, right? It's a bit outdated. But what I'd challenge you to do is guess. It might be hard because it's all silent. Feel free to yell out. How many money orders are sold each year in the United States? So, keeping with the theme of the silent, I won't let you talk. No one talk. So 110 million, upwards of 110 million. So yes, it's definitely not new, but there's definitely a need for it, especially with our customer base, right? The unbanked populations of North America is a resounding yes. So we have to continue to provide service for them, and we have to build on top of what we've got. So what are the challenges we have with money order? Well, I can tell you for a fact there's no way that we're going to be able to hit our $500 million growth target in our current setup. Partially because engineering expertise is dwindling, but also we need to prepare for this volume growth in a cost-efficient and dynamic manner, right? We need to roll out new solutions, new ways to do this, and we need our mainframe or improved modern version of that to scale with us, right? Different features and functionality to take an old idea and make it, applicable, relevant in a digital age, right? And I need a mainframe technology to do that. But most importantly, we need to improve our back office operations. So while it may seem very simple, It takes maybe 15 separate teams across Western Union, whether that's accounting, fraud prevention, presentment operations, refunds, customer support, agent support, all these different teams just to run what seems like a really simple piece of paper, right? Right now, all of those teams are using the terminal screens to run tens of millions in money orders each month. So I've got to overcome that because it's starting to hamstring us a bit. So what are we focusing on? So these are 3 things here, and of course I just touched on back office, so that's one. But this bit here, so 1 product, 3 personas. I kind of alluded to it just now, but with the money order, there's 3 different hands that touch it, right? Obviously, our customers buy it, our retail frontline agents sell it, and then those 14, 15 some odd back office teams make sure when you cash it, you get the money, make sure when you want to refund it, you get the refund, or if you've been defrauded, we help you get your money back. So we've got to build this product, which was theoretically one directional. I got to make it support all 3 people here, right? Customers need self-service tools. My agents need to be able to manage, engage, and help those customers when they walk in. And then I got to make the back office work well. And, all that to say, right, I think it's a given. Money order, and if you're familiar with alternative financial products, runs on account clearing, which is a bit slow in today's modern age. So I got to make it as fast as I possibly can to match the bank's speeds so that when you're cashing in or using mobile deposit, I can give you approval or denial very quickly on what that money order should or should not be cashed or deposited as. So we're running a pilot, right? If you look at this up here, you can obviously see all the different steps that we mentioned, and right now, Q4 2025, we're working through this pilot. We've got a little ways to go, but while I understand all this, I'm not necessarily the person who thinks that Rob mentioned. You said Will can tell you how to build it. I can't tell you at all how to build this thing. What I can tell you is what I want it to look like and what my team needs it to look like so that we can achieve what I just mentioned beforehand. So for me, this has a laser pointer? No? Bummer. Human-centric design is what I'm mostly interested in. We've got to break out of the terminal windows, which I've tried. I have tried and tried and tried, and I'll just stick to Outlook and meetings. I'm not going to try any harder. So we've got to build this in a way that all those personas are supported, and I can scale it. Right now, my customer support representatives can't do all the things that I need them to do, because why would I train Tier 1 customer support on how to leverage the terminal window, how to go through and do all that? So Joel and the AWS team has helped me understand what is possible. How do I go from this archaic visual and really make a modern user feel and push that forward? And I think with that, all these pieces, all the accurate transformations, all the validation will help us move money order into a modern era, like I said. So this for me is the end-all be-all. For me, tech for tech's sake is not a good thing. I don't just want to bring in tech, I want to bring in solutions. To me, all these steps here in this year worth of engagement is to bring a means to an end and to help us modernize money order better than the competition has and really create a new digitized money order the best we can. Speaking of not being able to describe how to build it, my favorite slide. So you can read up here, right? You can see all the architecture diagrams. You can see how the individual agents are talking to each other. Of course, Transform is operating in tandem with the Accenture agents. The great thing here is it's all running securely on our AWS instance. One thing that the agents are doing, so they're obviously evaluating the processes and the architecture we laid out, but for me, being new to mainframe details, right, it's evaluating our performance on the mainframe. So what we're getting from this is not only can we migrate like for like, right, which is obviously extremely important. I want to make sure that whatever I'm getting on my current solution, I'm getting the same outcome, but I want it done quicker, faster, better, stronger, what have you. So it's evaluating the performance. It's evaluating how to make things more efficient with less lines of code. And an interesting bit here for a basic user like myself, working through a chatbot solution to simplify the engineering aspect of things, right? So as I mentioned, mainframe engineering expertise is going down. We're losing it. A lot of churn and retention risks in that area. So obviously this chatbot solution simplifies that, reduces the complexity of what's truly needed when you migrate these resources or you change teams, things like that. But a really cool thing about it is we're able to keep our current context and nomenclature intact. So just because I'm moving something that's been around for 35 years in Western Union doesn't necessarily mean that I have to change everything that people refer to things as. I mean, I'm sure we're going to change there, but I don't have to unless I really want to, which is quite nice, especially for a mix of new resources coming on to support this, as well as existing resources. So what happened? So you can read the details here, right? Just about 2.5 million lines of code. I want to talk about speed here. So throughout the pilot, which obviously we're still running through, but we've got some good results. So in only a month and a half, we managed to set up infrastructure, transform the code, and start testing this code, which to my understanding is about half the time it would have taken with traditional approaches. So not only that, but the 53,000 lines of COBOL were converted in just about an hour and a half. For technical documentation, which is obviously important for a migration type activity. So 31 elements in 19 hours using the Accenture agents. And then we completed all the business requirements docs in about 5 hours. Data migrated, 21 vSAM files and 25 DB2 tables were moved in this effort without any accuracy or transfer issues. So, thank you. So anyway, so far, very resounding progress, a lot of good efforts on both sides. So, again, what's our purpose behind this? Why are we doing it? I have to increase the speed and the usability for all the people touching money order, for the customer, for the internal teams, for the agents, and that's the primary focus. From what we laid out here, I feel strongly that our approach and the partnership that we've laid out will put us on the path for taking what has historically been a time-tested product and developing it for the modern era. So I believe we can drastically continue our growth in a market that we've held dominant and continue to pull business from the competition because of the features that we're going to bring to money order with this AWS Transform tech. So, thank you.
Okay, so you heard from the the benefits. He was talking about many things in the hours, like converting the thousandth of lines of code and how moving the things. And the most important is the 2x speed, which used to take 3+ months traditionally. Now it is possible with the AWS Transform and Accenture composable solution to achieve in the 6 weeks from discovery to the testing, which is pretty impressive results. So we have the similar story with the Unam, and I will like to invite the Jay to talk about the Unam transformation journey with Pega.
Hi all, thanks. Welcome to reInvent, and thanks for coming to listen to Unam's journey with AWS Transform and Pega. I know we're sort of at the witching hour, right after lunch, where everybody's getting a little sleepy. So if you would, please indulge me in a little exercise. If you're here because you're interested in legacy modernization and transformation, please stand up. Awesome, most of us are awake. If you're still sitting, then you've fallen victim maybe to the postprandial sleepiness, or please remain standing, please remain standing. Yes, you're not awake yet. If you've not started your transformation journey, please have a seat. If you have not completed your transformation journey, please have a seat. All right, we're thinning out. If you have not completed your journey and you deem it a success, so if it's not a success, or you don't think, or you're not sure, please have a seat. Have a quick look around, folks, because there's one other person you want to talk to in the hallway. Have a seat. Thank you very much for indulging me. My name is Jay Moody. I'm the AVP of IT Delivery and the Digital Process Automation Group at Unam. I'm relatively new to the organization, going on a year, but I have about 10 plus years of state, federal, and public sector consulting, 15 plus years of Pega solutions architecture experience, and over 20 years in the IT industry-ish, something like that. But I think what's most important, at least for me, is that I consider myself, or at least I strive to be, an empathetic, practical problem solver. And ultimately, I think empathy is absolutely key here, because even though we're here to talk about these incredible technologies, Transform and Pega, underneath everything, this is all about people. And this transformation touches real lives in real ways. So a little bit about Unam. We are an insurance company. We offer employer-sponsored benefits like life, disability, accident, supplemental benefits, dental, and vision. We have also been around for about 175 years or more, actually, which is a lot of time to accumulate all kinds of legacy technology, right? We're headquartered in Chattanooga, Tennessee, but we have offices all over the globe. I actually hail from the beautiful state of Maine, Portland, Maine. You guys should visit, but probably wait till the summer. Unam's mission, its whole purpose, is to protect people financially when they're ill or injured, or when they ultimately need it most. Colonial Life is a subsidiary of Unam. We service about 3.7 million lives, 90,000 organizations and companies. We're really, really, really good at what we do. I'm new to the organization, but I see it everywhere. People care. They're really good at what they do. And we're number 2 in whole life and universal, 3 in accident, hospital indemnity, right? But that doesn't mean we stop trying to improve. And the organization has a culture of innovation and improvement, and that's what we're doing here today. And the way we're doing it is really awesome. We're using AWS Transform, so AI, right? And Pega, also AI, to streamline and modernize our colonial claims processing. And in doing so, we're eliminating tech debt that's been around for ages, and we're doing it in months, not years. Whoop. So, as I mentioned, we've been around for 175 plus years, right? So, of course, there are some challenges, as I like to call them, opportunities, right? Every challenge is an opportunity, and those opportunities exist in both our systems and our processes. Taking, for example, our claims examiner. During this process, I was lucky enough to sit with some examiners and watch them do their daily jobs. At any given point, adjudicating one claim, they've got 2 windows open full of other, different screens, 7 different windows. So fragmented workflows, manual processing, and systems all over the place, right? They're managers. So our claims managers, we have 9 in this particular unit. Takes them about 3 hours a day just to manually assign work to their examiners. That's 27 hours in one day, right? 135 hours in a week, 7,000 hours a year for manual processing assignments to workers. And from a systems perspective, right, we all know that these transactions, they happen fast. Mainframes are fast. They do what they're supposed to do. They're very performant. What they lack, right, is flexibility. The rate that businesses are required to change these days, we all know it's getting faster and faster, and these systems need to be very flexible. So mainframes are not that, right? Mainframes are not entirely flexible. And they're not well documented. So when you have a system that's not well documented, it's extremely difficult to maintain, let alone improve. And of course, we're always looking to improve. Our transformation approach is nothing out of the ordinary, right? You're not going to see any magic in our approach necessarily. We're going to assess our code and do discovery workshops. We're going to actually acquire our code. We're stage and analyze, which is where we'll use transform and blueprint, and then build, validate, and verify, right? There's no magic here. One thing I would like to just convey is that in the very first minute of this project, in the very first stage, in the very first step, we encountered our very first hurdle, which is essentially finding the code, right? So if you will, imagine Bob in his back room basement next to his mainframe that he's worked on for 30 years. And you ask Bob, where is this code? What do you want to know? Why do you want it? Why do you want access? Who's asking? You're right? It's very, very tribal, very protective. And of course, this is where empathy comes in. Because of course, we may be replacing code that Bob has built, 30 years ago and has been maintaining ever since. Empathy is key. So once we got the code, right, what is our first step in modernization? It's imperative that you understand what you're trying to modernize, folks, because, right, if you can't understand it, you can't validate that you're actually modernizing it. So understanding what you're modernizing, right, what's the code doing? Can we validate it? Can we make sure that it's still doing what it's supposed to do after we modernize it? So we did this by uploading our code to Amazon's S3 bucket. We connected AWS Transform to our S3 bucket, and we told the agent, we asked the agent nicely because you just don't know, we said, please analyze our code and extract business rules from our mainframe systems. Bob's your uncle, right? Well, I only have a few minutes, so today Bob is your uncle. There were challenges along the way, for sure. But it's relatively easy, hours, to document years of code. And there's value right there, absolutely, right? I'm gonna break the rules. But when we analyze that code, 1.5 million lines of code, right? And what we get is a business rules extract document that tells us all about it. It shows us, it's got paths of what the code takes. It tells us who's taking those paths, what persona, what integrations, what are the data models in this code. It's so extreme value just there, right? So after 80 years of code sitting in production and one guy knowing what it does, now we've got pages and pages of documentation. But with those pages and pages of documentation, what are we going to do? Here's where Pega comes in. So Pega, if you don't already know, is a world-class low-code, no-code workflow automation and AI decisioning tool. We're going to upload that to Pega's Blueprint. Blueprint, however, is a free tool you can use online. Just sign up for your account. You can upload all kinds of different documentation, whether that be your transform business rules extract or a movie. In fact, you can upload a movie of somebody navigating through your green screens, upload it to your Blueprint. Blueprint will analyze that and pull out workflows. It will organize those workflows into stages and steps. It will put in there decision points, along with a lot of other cool stuff. But the value here is even greater than that, right? This is where you can sit with your subject matter experts. You can define, refine, you can reimagine your processes with your subject matter expert. It doesn't take an IT technologist to sit down and do this. This is a very visual interface, drag and drop, for really redefining and reimagining your processes. More than that, you can sit with your business folks. This can end up as a contract between IT and business, what we're going to build, how we're going to build it. All of our workflows are captured here, and this can be used as sign-off. But we can take this a step further, right? When we validate and test this, in order to validate and test this or fully build it, you download your Blueprint and you import it into your Pega. Whoops, sorry. This is what I get for breaking the rules. You import it into your Pega solution, and you end up, in our case, we're in the cloud, so we have a cloud native Pega solution that has all of the infrastructure of AWS. Pega Cloud is built on AWS. So you've got the highly scalable, available services backed by 99.95 availability SLA. You've got disaster recovery, encryption services, backups, everything that AWS has to offer, you have that. This solution in particular takes advantage of Pega's composable architecture. In some cases, we call it the situational layer cake, in which you have layers of rules, but the right rule fires in the right context at the right time. In our solution, we're able to implement skill-based routing automatically. What happened before in hours happens now out of the box. You've got AI-powered fast pay, so straight through processing, smart adjudication, operational reporting, and data insights right out of the box. Sarb's gonna be mad I'm skipping around. I'm breaking rules, Sarb! Breaking rules. So let's bring this back to the people, right? This is what we're here to talk about. We're here really to talk about technology, but remember, ultimately, it's about people. So what impact does this have on lives? Remember our claims manager experience? 7,000 hours a year for our claims managers. It's gone, it's eliminated, right? Figure out what to do with your time now because your team's got 7,000 hours extra in their lives. The claims examiner experience, from 7 different windows to one unified experience. Most importantly, the end user, the claimant, right? Our customer, our end customer. They're not sitting around waiting for their claim to be adjudicated, to figure out whether it's paid or whether they're missing some information. This is all happening really, really quickly now. So more time in their lives to worry about the important things. So that's realized value, right? We all know that with these projects, sometimes we have to go through the review process. They've got to get funded. We've got to talk about value before we can prove value. So how do you do that, right? I mean, customer satisfaction, although it is it's an incredible KPI, it's really hard to put a number to it. It's really hard to predict the impact this is going to have. But you can talk about the decreased risk with the mainframes. You can talk about the decreased cost of ownership and leaving that hard to maintain legacy system in the past where it belongs. Ultimately, we had a few years ago, we had 2 vendors come in and give us a similar quote to do what we're doing now. And at 7 years, $25 million. We went from COBOL to cloud with a testable application in 3 months. Thank you. Thank you all. I want to remind you or encourage you while you're on your modernization journey to innovate empathetically. Thank you. Thanks.
So thank you, Jay and Will. And you see that how this GenAI AWS Transform and composable solution helps to provide the speed, scale, and innovation, and bring this journey from the months to days, I will say here. And it increased the velocity. We created through these agents, we created the automation, and we formed this partnership. And when talking about the partnership, so these are, if you will see at the top, you heard about Accenture and Pega story, and Capgemini has built the agent. You can see all these top 3 agents in the booth. And then we have other like IBM, Infosys, Deloitte, TCS, and we have the ISV partner, which include CAST, Precisely, and Carson has the Redux and the Open Legacy. So these are our early onboarding partner who has built the agent ahead of the time, and a composable solution are they are building. And all these demos are available. If you want to visualize here, you just see the architecture diagram. If you want to visualize how it looks, you can head to the expo. I'm going to head after that. And I just want to bring this slide. These are the capability we launched today. Okay. So if you have missed that session, you see the application reimagining. We are doing the activity analysis, data analysis, enhanced chat experience. We have put the entire test automation and expand availability in the, how many, 8 or 9 more regions now it is available, AWS Transform. Okay, so you can cover the Asia Pacific, EMEA, and other regions as well. Okay, so maybe you want to take a photo, take this, but this is AWS Transform available. And these are the different sessions available, so you can go and learn about all these. We have very deep hands-on workshop available for all the path. Do you want to take it to the reimagine path using the Kiro and Kiro CLI? Creating application from scratch, looking at the BRE, you will find the workshop here. If you are looking at the data augmentation, if you are looking at the refactoring, all the workshops available here, all the exciting sessions available here. So thank you for your time today, and hope you have learned new things from here, and looking forward to work with our customers and partners to make the mainframe modernization great again.